Strong With You Parfum, Acqua di Gio Elixir, and whatever this is. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today we're going to be talking about the latest niche and designer fragrances that I unboxed, and some of these are actually pretty affordable despite the fact that it's niche. And what's crazy is that this niche fragrance is cheaper than the designers. Today we're going to be talking about Strong With You Parfum, Acqua di Gio Elixir, and Junaid perfumes called Sanaya. So let's start off with probably one of the hottest drops, Stronger With You Parfum, and this is a fragrance that really takes the original style DNA of the Stronger With You and intensely mashes it up and intensifies the scent profile. Quite literally as simple as that. It's a lot truer to that original DNA, but also adding more of an ambery style of sweetness. You'll find it intensely, and rather than using that fresh rather than using the fresh bergamot, it intensifies it by using a candied style of mandarin. Also, the increased concentration, you can definitely sense it because that smoke and some of those pepper combinations you'll find in the original, minus the pepper, is intensified. So the opening opens up with a much more intense and rich honeyed style citrus while having a more intensive pepper spice style of DNA, and then also toning down or drying down into something that's still sweet, playful, and sexy. It's kind of like their clubbing vibe of the Stronger With You, hence the whole commercial if you look at their commercial, etc. So if they were to create their own Ultramol vein fragrance with the Stronger With You line, it would be this one, Stronger With You Parfum. In terms of the performance for this fragrance, I got about a good 8 hours. I wouldn't really place it as anything more than that. It is relatively new, and I find that even with designers, not just cheapies and in general, fragrances do age and they get stronger over time. With that being said, I sprayed this on about 8 times. It gave me that 8 hours of longevity, and the performance and projection for this one isn't one that I could smell maybe past an hour and a half, which I honestly was surprised because I would have imagined that considering it's more of a clubbing scent, or it looks like it's supposed to be, it would be a little bit more projecting than that. We'll give it some time, we'll see how it acts, but so far for now, I give it like an 8.65, maybe an 8.75. The next one I wore, I fell absolutely in love with, and right off the bat, I knew that this was going to be a staple in my collection. It's Acqua di Gio Elixir. It's got something that's very reminiscent to Profumo and even the new Parfum, or the newer Parfum. Profumo is disconnected or discontinued, I should say, and all of which have this aquatic, woody, and resinous style DNA. This one adds something a bit more aromatic and also the note of leather. The leather adds body depth and richness without taking the scent profile away too much from its origins. So can you sense it if you're really looking for it? But overall, I feel like it's a supporting note and an accord that really just intensifies and really makes this one a longer lasting and a richer scent profile in what it's already doing, as with many flankers should be doing. So Elixir is relatively true to its like concentration and things like that. You would expect something stronger, and that's exactly what it is. I think stemming from the Parfum currently, which what we have, the aquatic, woody, maybe even earthy and patchouli style, this one does get close to that, but having that addition of full depth style of notes in the dry down, making this one honestly even better. Now, as far as redundancy, if you really like this DNA, it doesn't freaking matter. And to be honest with you guys, it could potentially be redundant if you have all those DNAs. But for me personally, I like it over all of them right now. Profumo unfortunately is discontinued, so that's not in debate right now, but the Elixir hands down is the best one right now. So the only gripe I have with this one is going to be the price point. Despite the fact that it says Elixir, the concentration is still a Parfum, as with the Parfum in itself. So with that being said, both of these placed together, although having reminiscences in their backbone DNA, they are still quite different. This one being a lot more aquatic and light, and this one going into more rich, full-bodied, and just deeper scent profile. This is definitely better. It's a 10 out of 10 versus like an 8.75 out of 10. The Elixir is fantastic. I think every man should have this in their collection, especially for those of you who are maybe 25 and up looking for an office fragrance or going to college, etc. That exudes a certain level of like, I have my shit together while staying fresh and inoffensive. It also lasts a hell of a long time and easily much longer than the Parfum. And this one will give you a solid 8 to 10 hours. It's outstanding. I think this has to be one of the best releases from Armani or Acqua di Gio line in a long time. It's a 10 out of 10. Honestly, that's phenomenal. So last but not least, this is from a Middle Eastern niche fragrance called Junaid Perfumes. They've been around since 1910, you guys. And this smells like it's got the notes of ginger. It also has the notes of ambergris. There's also some bergamot. There's also geranium, etc. And it smells like something that's fresh, a little bit aquatic, but also has a pretty intensive style of tea. It honestly, to me, smells a lot like Louis Vuitton's Imagination, except for the fact that it increases a little bit of that tartness. It's got something a bit more fresh and effervescent. It could very likely be that ambergris and geranium combination that's giving it that effervescence. I still smell the note of tea, although not listed in the notes. And I think that this almost like smells inspired by imagination, which to be honest with you guys, I'm not mad at it because it performed and it lasted on my clothing to the next day. Although relatively faint and the way that this one projects and performs, it's not rich, but it's there. It's light, it's diffusive. So I would personally say spray this one on at least 6 to 8 times. The atomizer on this is pretty nice. And I will say though, that the presentation for this one is not as premium as a lot of the Junaid perfumes. It looks like this is just a sticker. It's bubbling a little bit. The cap in itself is magnetized and you have a pressurized atomizer, but that's it. It is reflective on the scent profile or the price point, and that smells incredible. It smells really good. Juicy, citrusy, still giving me that cask cologne, the tea that you'll get in Imagination with the soapy vibe, but more towards the citrus and that salty tart kick coming from ambergris. It's 90 bucks. You can find this on Fragrance Arabia and many of these other fragrances that are discounted, Designers Niche and Middle Eastern, and all of these coupon codes you'll see on screen. This one more specifically, Fragrance Arabia, use AROMATIX to save. And if you want to pick up my fragrances, AROMATIX, they are available right now on Joma Shop. You guys, we're getting a lot of new releases, and honestly, it's hard to keep up, but I have to admit, some of them are really good and some of them are okay and maybe even passable. This one's okay. I still am not fully in love with it, but time will tell. Just like with many other releases and fragrances, a lot of people are quick to judge and review and release and then end up really eating their own words and falling in love, or end up really hating a fragrance. And I tried to do my best to be as transparent as possible so you guys can see that exact process, because I go through that too. I might initially start off really liking a fragrance and then just thinking it's shit like 3 weeks later or something like that, right? It is what it is. And that's kind of been the thing with Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. I know a lot of people are saying that it's not the best. I personally love it. I think it's really good. My name is Neve. Thank you for tuning back in AROMATIX, and I'll see you in the next video.